Welcome back, everyone, to the smartest year ever, our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalists. My name is Gordy, and I was just wondering, do you know what this polar bear did to wind up in polar bear jail? Give me 5 minutes, bet you can work this into a conversation today, but first, like and subscribe so you can keep up. I do this every single day. It sounds like a joke, polar bear jail, but it's actually super real, and it's one of the strangest and, I would say, most Canadian solutions to a dangerous problem. The town of Churchill, Manitoba sits right on the shore of Hudson Bay where the tundra meets the Arctic Sea. Fewer than 1,000 people live there, but every fall hundreds of polar bears pass through, waiting for the sea ice to form so they can go hunt seals, and locals call it polar bear season. From October through early winter, you could see bears walking down the street, like napping under porches or raiding garbage bins like giant half-ton raccoons. But unlike raccoons, polar bears will also eat a person. For decades, the encounters were deadly, and mostly for the bears. In the 1970s, problem bears, as they call them, or I call them bad news bears, they wandered into town and were often shot. So in 1983, Manitoba Conservation created the Polar Bear Alert Program, which was a task force with a simple goal: no bear deaths, no human deaths. And so their solution was a literal polar bear jail, officially called the Polar Bear Holding Facility, even though I was disappointed to know you're not allowed to hold the bears there. So stupid. But it's a converted aircraft hangar near the airport that serves as a temporary holding center for troublesome bears. When a bear wanders too close to town, people can call it in, and trained officers will come and capture the bears in these baited traps, these little tubes. And smaller or first-time offenders might just get scare tactics like noise cannons, cracker shells, or just, a ride out of town in a truck. But repeat offenders,
believe it or not, jail right away.
Straight to jail. Inside, it's not exactly cozy. Each bear is kept in its own cell, away from humans and other bears, lots of concrete and steel bars, stuff like that. And they aren't fed, and that's intentional because the goal is to break the habit of scavenging near people. And polar bears, I read, are pretty used to going extended periods of time without eating. So while they don't enjoy not eating, it's not like you're holding a human for 2 weeks without food. And they get water, monitoring, and quiet darkness, basically, until the Hudson Bay finally freezes over. Ultimately, it is pretty harsh, but it's still better than killing them or having a person killed by them. And when it's time, the bears are loaded into cargo nets and flown by a helicopter 30 to 50 miles north, where they're released onto the ice to hunt again. So it's basically like a wildlife version of catch, cool off, and release with a traumatic/boredom element built in. But how about that? That must be just terrifying, riding in those. Oh. But the system works. Churchill's bear-related shootings plummeted, and the program became a global model for wildlife management. And it's good that they put these procedures in place a while ago, because as climate change delays the sea ice each year, more bears become stranded on land longer, getting hungrier and more desperate, and all that translates to more bears showing up in town, and more bears ending up behind bars in the clink. At times, the jail has held 20 plus bears at once. I think it can hold 28 bears. And at that point, you risk factions of polar bear prison gangs forming. So you don't want too many, Still, the program continues, a strange blend of compassion, necessity, and Arctic bureaucracy. So there you have it in Churchill, Manitoba. If you're a polar bear who breaks the law, you don't get shot. You get paperwork, a sentencing, and a helicopter ride home. Go check out my sources, which can be found in the YouTube description. Leave me a comment. Have you ever seen one of these? Have you ever seen a polar bear before? And have you ever seen a polar bear jail before in person? That would be interesting to know. Rate, like, subscribe if you haven't. Go check out the short version I do of all these. The 45-second version I do across social media at Smartest Year Ever is how you can find me there. And in the meantime, stay curious and stay clever on our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalists. I'll see you tomorrow in the Smartest Year Ever.